Hey everyone, it's Monica, and today I am doing a new Try a Chapter video. So this is one of my favorite types of videos to film because I love just testing out new books, and it helps me like rediscover books that have been sitting on my TBR shelf for a while, or that maybe I wouldn't pick up immediately but all of a sudden really need to. So this time I decided to theme this Try a Chapter, and I decided to go with reading Booktubers' favorite books. So I reached out to some of my friends who make booktube videos. I'll be sure to link them in the description box below. But I basically asked them to let me know their recent favorite book. And in this video, I will be trying a chapter from each of those books, telling you a bit about my experience of each one, and then choosing one at the end to continue on reading throughout the rest of the month. So I'm going to be testing out 5 different books in this video. The first book that I'm going to be reading is Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake, and this book was recommended to me by Kaylee from over at Kaylee Hyde, who is my roommate. She's currently on the other side of this wall right now, actually. I actually requested an advance copy of this book from HMHT, and it comes out this year in May, and I'm so excited for this book. It sounds so amazing. From my understanding, it follows 2 protagonists, Mara and Hannah. Hannah is the victim of rape, and Mara is Hannah's best friend and also the sister of the rapist who attacked Hannah. This is a book that was one of my most anticipated releases of this year because the subject just sounded so incredibly important and relevant, but it's also one that I was very hesitant about because if this book wasn't handled well, if the subject wasn't handled well, it could be really bad. But I really trust Kaylee, and I'm just very excited to finally start this one. Then Kat from over at Catty-tastic recommended Nice Try Jane Sinner by Leanne Owelk. I was sold on this one because Kat basically picked this up at the airport when she was coming to visit us in New York City and read it pretty much the entire flight over and just raved about it the entire time she was here. So I knew I had to read it, and so I pretty much knew as soon as I asked her what book she was going to recommend, she was going to suggest this one, and I'm really happy that she did because I am so excited to start it. This is about Jane Sinner, who is going to community college, and while she's there, she ends up getting involved in this sort of student-run reality show, like Big Brother style reality show. I've heard such amazing things about Jane Sinner's character and just like the way that she talks, because it's written in sort of like diary entries from my understanding. And then Emma from over at Emma Books recommended Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This is another one of my most anticipated books of this year. This is one that I'm sure you guys have seen. It's gotten so much hype, and it is out now. So this is supposed to be a Nigerian fantasy novel, and outside of that, I really don't know a lot about the premise of the story itself. There's a lot going on in this synopsis on the back, so if you guys want to look it up, you can. So I'm excited to jump into it because I think one of the things that sort of always stops me from reading fantasy is there's always just sort of like a little bit of an intimidation factor, because you're going to be learning about a whole new world. Even though fantasy is like my favorite genre to read, I still always feel that weird intimidation with it, and I don't know why. So it's always like a hurdle just to get myself to start the fantasy book, and then I usually end up always loving it. So really excited this is gonna push me to start this book. I'm actually a little bit worried that I feel like every time I do one of these videos I end up reading all the books because I just end up really liking all of them, but yeah, I'm really hyped to start this one. The next 2 books I'm planning on reading digitally. The first one I have an ebook of, and this was recommended to me by Cece from over at Problems of a Book Nerd, and she recommended Juliet Takes a Breath. This is a YA contemporary story that explores ideas of feminism, particularly intersectional feminism. This story follows Juliet, who is a young queer Puerto Rican who ends up working with this sort of famous white feminist, and from my understanding it explores a lot of the sort of downfalls of white feminism and sort of finding people of color and queer people being able to find their own spaces within these groups, and sort of their like feminism's failure of like really representing a wider group of people. So I have been wanting to read this for so long. I know Cece loves it, obviously. It's one of her recent favorites, so super excited to jump into that one. And then the next book I will be listening to via audiobook, Call Me By Your Name, which is the book that inspired the film that came out recently and has gotten so much acclaim and buzz. And I've been wanting to read the book before I saw the film, and then Michael said that this is one of his recent favorites, so it was worked out perfectly. And I want to read this one via audiobook because Armie Hammer actually narrates it himself. So I think that'll be really cool to like watch, to listen to Armie Hammer tell the story and then to watch it with Armie Hammer in the movie, you know? Those are the books I will be reading, these ones plus some digital ones. I am going to be doing this sort of vlog style over the next couple of days, so I'll bring you along with me as I'm trying out each chapter, and I'll keep you posted on how I'm feeling about all these. But yeah, let's get started with the first book on my list, Nice Try, Jane Sinner. So it is the next day, and I am currently walking to my office. I work from basically an all-women, very feminist co-working space, and it's pretty much paradise. So I'll be doing my like normal work until the work day is over, and then I'm probably gonna stay like an extra hour or two, get some personal work done. And I also think I'm gonna try and read a chapter of Nice Try, Jane Sinner while I'm there. Hello guys, so it is the end of the day on Monday. It's like 7:30. I am walking to my train. Stayed for like an extra half an hour just to read a bit of Nice Try, Jane Sinner, and I am loving it. Dilemma is that I just want to keep reading it. That one doesn't have like typical chapter, like beginning and endings. It's just like diary entries. So I just sort of picked a random spot and stopped reading, but it's so funny. I love Jane Sinner's voice so much. So yeah, it's like my dilemma right now, and I feel like it's gonna be my dilemma with each of these books, that I'm just gonna wanna keep reading all of them. And I can't, because I'm supposed to pick one, and you can't read 5 books at once, much to my chagrin. Hey guys, so I just got home, immediately got into bed to like lie down for a couple minutes because I was just real tired. I started Call Me By Your Name on audiobook, and it just wasn't really for me. Listening to it via audiobook, like Armie Hammer's narration was really beautiful, and I definitely recommend, you know, giving it a shot if you're interested in listening to it. But for me, I think like the like narration just made it sound very pretentious, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because I think that there are books that I love, like The Secret History by Donna Tartt, that if I were to read that via audiobook, I'm pretty sure I would feel very similarly about it. So I just sort of feel like that's one that if I eventually do read that one, I'm gonna want to read it physically or like as an ebook. I just don't think it's gonna work for me as an audiobook. But tonight I have a couple more books that I meant to try, and they are Girl Made of Stars, Children of Blood and Bone, and then also my ebook of Juliet Takes a Breath. So I am gonna try a chapter from each of them, but we will see how that goes. I think the first one I'm gonna give a shot to is Girl Made of Stars, because this is one that has been on my TBR for so long, and I've just heard such good things about it and I want to read it. Okay, so I like knowing how the story is gonna play out, like knowing, because you know going into it that Owen, the twin brother, is a rapist. I'm it's like right from the start, this is incredibly uncomfortable to read. So I just finished reading the first chapter of Girl Made of Stars. It's a really short chapter, but I can already tell that I'm gonna love this book, but I can also already tell that it's gonna be an incredibly uncomfortable and difficult read. Like, that first chapter was so hard to get through, even though it was like lighthearted, just because you know like what's gonna happen. It's very difficult, but I am still really excited to read this one. This is another one, like, I just want to keep reading it. I don't want to stop, but I'm gonna make myself stop for right now, because without a doubt I'm reading this book. This is amazing. Hey guys, okay, so it is like 9:30 at night. I had some dinner, I had some leftover Thai food, and now I am going to read the first chapter of Emma's pick, which was Children of Blood and Bone. And I'm so excited to start this one because there is so much hype around this book. It's, I think, one of the biggest releases of the year, so I have been wanting to read it for so long, and I can't believe, like, I've had this for like a year now and I haven't read it, and I can't believe that fact. But now it is officially out, so I feel like I must read it, so I'm really excited to do that. And yeah, let's get started. It's so good. I'm probably definitely gonna read this one this month. The book just like instantly immersed me in this story. I cannot wait to continue reading it. That means that I only have one more book left to read tonight, and that is the book that I am reading on my Kindle, Juliet Takes a Breath. So I'm going to actually go shower really quick, and then I am going to get a cup of tea and start Juliet Takes a Breath. So be right back. This paragraph just alone has blown me away. She writes, "Can a badass white lady like you make room for me? Should I stand next to you and take that space, or do I need to just push you out of the way? Claim it myself now so that one day we'll be able to share this earth, this block, these deep breaths." Ooh, oh my gosh, I love this already. Good pick, Cece, good pick. This line, "But if you can question the patriarchy, then I can question you." I need to be highlighting this. I need a physical copy of this book. Okay, so I just finished reading Juliet Takes a Breath, and honestly, it was so much better than I even anticipated it being. It was just so witty and funny, but also like within like that preface and first chapter, like already heart-wrenching and beautiful. And just like, I think it's gonna be such a fantastic read, and I cannot wait to continue reading it. After finishing that, I think my top book picks would be Children of Blood and Bone and Juliet Takes a Breath. Definitely all of the books were so amazing. Girl Made of Stars is gonna be a very difficult read, so I just feel like I'm not in the headspace to read this one right now, so I'm not going to. Nice Try Jane Sinner, I definitely want to continue reading, but like if I were to rank all of them, I really want to continue with Juliet Takes a Breath and Children of Blood and Bone and just sort of like be in those worlds right now the most. But all of the books were really interesting. Probably the only book that I'm not planning on continuing immediately is Call Me By Your Name, just because I'm not in the mood for that prose right now. But I know that the second that I am in the mood for a book like that, I will devour it and absolutely love it, because I really loved the writing of it. I just didn't connect with Armie Hammer's like narration. So yeah, still planning on reading that one. I actually have already purchased the ebook of it, so I will have that on hand. And yeah, I think that is the end of this Try a Chapter video. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books, if there are ones that you're super excited for. Thank you so much again to all of my friends who gave me book suggestions for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!